The next speaker, among other things, has done me the great favor of taking off my hands the mantle of Python Software Foundation chairman, so I am personally very grateful to him. Van first came to our attention when he ran two amazing conferences in Atlanta, and he's been the PSF's attorney for quite some time. That's kind of had to end now because he's got another role. But let's hear what he's got to say. So we're going to hear from Van Lindberg, who's going to be talking about Python, community included. Take it away, Van.
Howdy, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. Well, for those who don't know me, well, I'm Van. You know, there was once a time, it wasn't too long ago, when I knew, at least by reputation, every single person, I think, that was at PyCon. Unfortunately, I don't know all 2,500 of you yet, but I'm working on it. In the meantime, I'm just thrilled that you are all here. You know, I want to take a minute to talk about PyCon. PyCon is the result of the efforts of a lot of different people. I want to echo Jesse's comments from the opening keynote. You know, there are a huge number of people who put in their time, their sweat, their effort, their blood, their tears into making PyCon possible. PyCon organizers, I don't know if you know, Steve mentioned that I'm a lawyer, and so I need to track my time relentlessly. PyCon organizers actually end up spending between 50 and 1,000 hours over the preceding year to put on this conference. It is an amazing amount of conference for which nobody is paid. PyCon really is a labor of love. So I want to thank all of the PyCon organizers. But there's one other essential element to PyCon, and that is all of you. You know, it would really get boring if there were just a couple of us here sitting back and forth, talking to each other. You know, I'd like to especially welcome all of those who are here for the first time. Now, we're going to get better information as we get all of your feedback from the survey, which, by the way, all of you should make sure to hit. But we do know a few things about the people who are here. So I wanted to talk for a minute about the group of Pythonistas that we have. We have in this room about 2,500 people. We have every state in the United States, as well as almost every country in North and South America. We have attendees from Australia, China, Japan, Russia. We have a handful of places in the Middle East, a handful of places in Africa. We have almost every country in Europe. We have people who speak 30 or 40 different languages, and we have just about 20% women. Each of you makes PyCon stronger by being here, by giving lightning talks, by asking interesting questions, by being a speaker, by participating in the Raspberry Pi Lab. The things that you do here are part of what make PyCon so amazing. You know, someone said to me just a little bit ago that the hallway track this year was among the best that they've ever seen. Now, for those who are new here, the hallway track is the accidental conversations that you have, just running back and forth, talking with the people that you bump into. And he said, in fact, because he was at another hotel, going back and forth, there was a conference limo track that was going on as well. I was glad to hear that. You know, I've always said that the difference between PyCon and other conferences is that at PyCon you come to contribute, and at other conferences you come to be catered to. Your contributions are what make PyCon awesome. So now there are three things in particular that I wanted to touch on this morning. The first is that I'd like to introduce you to the new python.org. You know, there are a few people who have seen this maybe at the testing BOF. I think it was featured briefly. It was also featured in one of the booths in the expo hall. So one of the not so surprising things about programmers is that we like to build things. And we all think that we like to build them exactly the way that we like them, and we disagree as to how that should be. And so for many years, we used a completely custom framework to run py.org. Now, this is the second iteration of that framework. I really hesitate to even call it a web framework. It was more like a custom DSL that, as a side effect, spat out HTML. You know, there were even, for many years, parts of it that were backed by RCS. Now, how many here know what RCS is? I pity you. Wait, how many here have used RCS? Ooh. So about a year ago, our redesign process, spearheaded by Jesse Noller, kicked off. Yes, the same Jesse Noller who's done all of this. And there was an open requirements and bidding process, followed by a delightful trip down the rabbit hole with by Jacob Kaplan-Moss and Frank Wiles at RevSys, and Seth Burke and Jason Hogue at Project Evolution. They huddled together in their mailing list, and they meditated over their Trello cards, and they came up with this. For those who want to hit it, it's actually live. This is a screenshot I took last night from preview.python.org. The new py.org is built on a responsive set of templates with optimizations from all sides for all sizes, from from mobile to tablet to desktop. They actually said it was. They actually wanted me to say that it was mobile first, but I choked on too many buzzwords. But seriously, when you get it, try resizing it in your browser. It's actually optimized so that it delivers you the most effective and optimized presentation for whatever you're on. There was an amazing amount of thought that went into the design and illustrations to help reflect Python and give us a serious but elegant visual identity. You know, the links to the sister sites, you can see across the top, there are sites for the PSF, for the documentation, for PyPI, jobs board, etc. These are all the sister sites, and they're available right at the top for those who know their way around. The main navigation is meant for those who are just coming into Python and to be available and welcoming for all the new people who are joining our community. It's for those who want to know about the PSF, what's going on. It has a big download button that allows you, that figures out what you're on and says, do you want to download Python right now? And it gives it to you. The icon set is a custom SVG icons font. We call them Pythonicons, which renders clean and quick on all sets of devices. On the back end, the new py.org is built on Django. The whole site is editable both through the web, and there will be an offline client as well. And the whole site is served through HTTPS. You know, in all the technology decisions, now this is all fun, we're thinking about this, but the guiding principle for every one of these technology decisions, it was, what is going to be the easiest technology for us to maintain? What is going to be the easiest technology for people to contribute to? What is going to be the thing that is going to allow us to keep this alive and a center for the Python community for the next 10 years? Now, we are building in a community directory where people can tie their py.org login to their meetups, to their meetup schedule, to their Bitbucket account, to their GitHub, and to RSS or Atom feeds. You know, we will do some curation so that we don't have just random stuff showing up, but no one is going to require permission to be able to share and participate in py.org. It's built from the ground up to integrate with and serve the community. Oh, and it's completely 100% written in Python 3.3. We ported over a number of libraries so that we could use the very best and latest Python release. Now, we still have to bring over all the content. We know there will be bugs. There's a feedback link on every page so that you can give us your ideas and bug reports. In a very short amount of time, the site will be put out on GitHub, and it will be available for open source and shortly accepting pull requests. So the next thing that I want to talk about is Python. Now, not necessarily this Python, unfortunately. We're talking about this Python, and this Python, and that Python. Now, most of you know that the PSF has been involved in a trademark dispute with a company called Weber Hosting in the UK. You know, a long time in the past, Weber got the python.co.uk domain, and at the time we weren't looking a lot at trademark issues, and so they got it. But this wasn't really an issue because for a long time this was just a redirect to some of their other properties. But unfortunately, Weber decided last year that they wanted to start using and branding a Python software service. Now, we contacted them, and we tried to discuss it with them, and they felt like they really blew us off. And what's more, they followed up by filing a community trademark in Europe, saying, you know what, we're the only ones who should be able to use Python for software. Naturally, we weren't too thrilled about this, and we objected, both legally. We got legal counsel in the UK, and we started going through the legal proceeding. A little while ago, we reached out to the Python community as a whole to help us gather evidence. You know, I want to report that the result was amazing. We received thousands of email messages with contacts, with evidence, with witness statements, with all sorts of support. We received financial support from hundreds and hundreds of users and a number of business members in our community. You know, I really need to specifically call out Google, who helped us cover our legal bills for all this. Now, today, I'm happy to announce that it's over, and we won. Two days ago, we signed a settlement with Weber, and they agreed, and I quote, to cease all use of the trade name Python and rebrand its business with a new name that is not associated with the term Python and cannot be confused with PSF activities or services. They further agreed to withdraw their trademark application and, quote, to support the PSF's right to and use of the term Python, including in any PSF trademark applications, and not encourage or sanction or participate in any other use of the term Python.
What's the whole company called Coconut Snakes?
So, translating from legalese, yeah, stop that. What's more, yesterday I received word that our own application for a community trademark in the EU was accepted according to filing date, and so we will very shortly be the legal rightful users of the term Python in Europe. Now, thank you all. You know, I really think it was the amazing outpouring from the Python community that really made this possible. So the third thing that I want to touch on is the future of the PSF. You know, the official mission of the Python Software Foundation, and here I'm going to quote again, is to promote, protect, and advance the Python programming language and to support and facilitate the growth of a diverse and international community of Python programmers. You know, what that means, though, is that it is the PSF's job to support you. You know, that is, I don't know if you really noted it, but the community was the real hero of everything that I talked about today. As the community, you make PyCon go. The community is at the center of the new pythonorg. And the community was what made the difference when we needed to defend the Python trademark. You know, this year we'll see a lot of growth and change in the PSF. You know, we're working to make the PSF radically more open and inclusive. You know, eventually, I want all of you to call the PSF your home. You know, if I had one message for you all, it is to treasure and build this community. You know, Python isn't just the language with the batteries included. Python is the community is the language with the community included. And that's what makes all the difference. Thanks.